What's up, YouTube family? It's been a while. How's everyone doing? I have not been around. I wanted to do a video and just kind of talk about where I've been, if anyone cares. I mean, I've got 1,400 subscribers odd, and I get a couple hundred views per video. So I don't know if it's dead accounts, bot accounts, people just don't care. Maybe my content just sucks. Which is a possibility. There's so many content creators, it might just suck, just not be good enough, not yet. But so I'm looking there because my computer's here, cameras over here, computers over here. So anyway, I've been preoccupied and busy, and life sometimes happens and takes priority, and it's not necessarily a bad thing that other things in life take priority. There's a lot of good things in life that you need to prioritize, and sometimes that just pulls you away from maybe things you are chasing. And it doesn't mean you should stop chasing them. If you are dreaming about something and you want to make it a reality, you should never stop, right? So you should keep going and keep chasing after it. So I just want to talk kind of through what's been happening over the last couple of months. I haven't put up a video, I think, in the last 100 days, so like three odd months. I haven't really uploaded anything, which is shocking, because I was building a pretty good track record and I was quite consistent for a period. And I think I was starting to gain some traction and just kind of find my way around what I wanted to do niche-wise and that kind of thing, which I kind of want to maybe change up as well. So let's talk a little bit. I'm going to talk about what's happened like most recently, what's led up to it, and then I'm going to talk about where we're going with the channel. So most recently, if you know me on a personal level, like you're someone I maybe hang out with over the weekend, you know I've just had a baby, our second baby, my son. He's just hit 2 months old, and he had a bit of a rough start when he was born. He was born with congenital pneumonia. So basically the day he came out, they told us, cool, he needs to be put in the ICU, which is the neonatal ICU. For the sake of the rest of the video, I'm not going to say neonatal ICU. I'm going to say NICU, just because it's quick and that's how everyone kind of refers to it. So he was born, and they realized that his breathing was a bit funny, and they did some x-rays, and they said, okay, there's fluid all over the lungs, he's got pneumonia. He was born with it, and he needs to be transferred, well, not transferred, he needs to go to the, well, yes, transferred technically. He needs to go to the NICU. He needs extra oxygen and some care that the NICU can provide. So what happened was they tried to book him in, and the NICU at the hospital where he was born said, sorry, we have no NICU beds, they're full. So lots of doctors shouting, screaming, fighting, trying to figure out what we're going to do. The NICU said, no, sorry, we can't help. You'll have to go somewhere else to get the care needed. So they opted to transfer him out to a hospital 10 minutes down the road. And the way this happened was a bunch of paramedics came into the hospital, into the maternity ward where my wife and son was, and they came in with this gurney with an incubator on top of it, with oxygen and heaters and all of that stuff. Pretty imposing looking contraption. I guess it's cool and all, you know, it does what it needs to do, but it was a bit imposing, and my wife obviously was losing her marbles. And not just my wife, I suppose I was trying to keep it cool, but I was also feeling a lot of stress and emotion. And my wife said, sure, she'll transfer along with him. And the doctor said, no, sorry. She had just had a C-section hours prior to this event taking place. And they said, there's absolutely no way they're transferring her out. She's just had major abdominal surgery. She is not going anywhere. So they transferred my son out. I had to drive along with the ambulance, and I got to the other hospital, and I had to do all the paperwork, and I was like, this child was just born, he doesn't even have, you know, a birth certificate or anything to his name. How do I book him into hospital? So luckily it was the same network of hospital, and they said, it's cool, don't worry, we can see the paperwork and that you're the dad, and mom's at the other hospital, so book him in. Then started the week of me traveling back and forth between my wife, my son, back home to our firstborn. My daughter is 4 years old, who's also asking questions. Where's mommy? Where's my brother? What's going on? Why are they at different hospitals? Me needing to, you know, fetch and carry milk and containers and be the only one who can go into the NICU at the other hospital to go stand with him and kind of, you know, just hold his hand and whatever. So that was quite a stressful experience. I do not wish it on anybody. If you have had a NICU experience, you understand. And this isn't even our first NICU experience. My daughter had major heart surgery when she was 3 months old. So that was extra scary because she had a 10-11 day stay at the cardiothoracic NICU at the specialized hospital that deals specifically with heart surgeries and stuff like that. So that was not great. Literally, it felt like such a familiar thing to us to, for that to have happened and him to be born and need a NICU stay immediately. And we were just hoping and praying that that wasn't going to be the case. But needless to say, he spent 5 days in and they said there's no residual effects on the lungs. He's got no lung disease. He's good. He's cleared and we can take him home. Thus began the new baby at home experience that if you've had a baby, you know and love. Some sleepless nights and some complaining and crying and not knowing what's, going on. Is the tummy sore? Is he hungry? Is he tired? You don't know. Plus we've got a toddler and she's crazy and insane. And so she's all over the place all the time and she runs around and terrorizes everyone and makes a hell of a noise. So he wakes up all the time from his naps. So that's lovely. So I'm tired. I might look tired. I'm sorry. I don't mean to look tired, but I am for sure. And so, yeah, he's 2 months old now. So that's been the last 2 months. Leading up to that, my wife had a pretty rough, I'd say, third trimester of pregnancy, and she struggled quite a bit. She was tired but couldn't sleep, and then sometimes she did sleep but needed to sleep more or slept too much. She was just struggling. She carried pretty big and everything hurt. It was just quite a rough thing. And also we were approaching due date and the doctors had informed us that it would have to be a C-section for reasons that I'm not really going to go into, but it had to be a C-section. And we kind of had to make peace with that. It wasn't, I guess, the preferred outcome, and she just had to accept that. So it was already an emotional thing, but at least it was planned and we knew when it was happening, and we thought it would help knowing when things were going to happen. So, and in and amongst that as well, obviously, I have a day job. I'm in IT and I work for a global company, and it can be demanding. You go through seasons at work. I guess sometimes it's great and it's breezy. Sometimes you're super busy. Sometimes things are happening, maybe not going the way you expect them to, would like them to. Things happen, people move around. Upsets happen all the time. It's just the world we live in, right? It's not necessarily always fair to you. So between work taking a lot of time and me needing to prioritize that, my wife being pregnant and needing a lot of help and support, my son being born and needing, I guess, our undivided attention once he came. Also, recovery time's been a bit hectic on my wife because of the whole situation. Her stomach's core muscles weren't really activating properly, causing an imbalance in muscle pressure within her core and caused her to slip a disc, which has also been fantastic, trying to get through all of that. And on top of that, my editing laptop was really bad, and it was like 9 years old, and it had like coil whine. I think that's the right word to use, coil whine. The fans were just like terribly, badly. The whole time you turn it on and you just hear like all kinds of weird sounds. You'd hear like the casing of the fan's kind of rubbing against it when it spins the whole time. It was super irritating, and not just that, it just wasn't performing well. It was irritating to use and not very effective at all. So here I am going forward with the channel. What I'm at least wanting to do, I want to maybe do some of the same, but also change up stuff a little bit. I don't necessarily feel like I want to chase release dates anymore. I might, and it's not to say that good games, aren't released, and I wasn't playing good games on their release dates and whatever, but it's so hard when these big YouTubers are like, release date comes around, now they've had the game a week early and they're putting out like 3 parts of gameplay a day, some of them. It's insane. It's their job. It's what they do. They make money off doing it. That's how they sustain themselves. They've got editors and teams and stuff like that. They do this stuff for them. I don't have that. I have a day job and a wife and 2 kids, which lots of people have the same. So nighttime is when I'm recording, editing, and I don't have super fancy equipment. My stuff is all kind of cobbled together, makeshifty to make things happen, right? I've tried to have some ingenuity with how I've put my setup together to make it effective and work for not a lot of money, because that's what I've needed to do. So what I'm thinking of doing was, yes, there'll be Let's Plays and little story stuff. The story stuff has actually done better than my other videos. But the thing is, with story stuff, it takes a long time because it's a lot of research, it's script writing, it's having played the game to have B-roll and have, you know, a good understanding and handle on the game and story to be able to put the whole thing together. So it's very time consuming. I am actually outstanding the Soul Reaver 2 story breakdown, which I actually still want to do, and I've got like a quarter of a script written for it that I never finished, and I was supposed to, but things just, you know, got away from me, I guess. But what I want to do as well is I want to visit some games that were like influential to me and I loved growing up, like RTS games. When last have you played an RTS game? Right, the very first computer game I played on a PC back in, I want to say 1997, 1998. Was a demo disc when we just got our computer, very first one, Pentium 1, 133 megahertz. Damn, that thing, it had 16 megabytes of RAM, and I remember we had a demo disc with like random demos on it, like Monster Truck Madness. Was it called Hellbender? That like flying ship thing in space, and we could go like 3D, and you know, for its time, I think it was pretty revolutionary. But anyway, the first thing I played was Warcraft 2, and I played that thing broken. I played that same demo over and over again, the same like 2-3 levels for both the orcs and the humans. I played them over and over again. And then I moved over to, I remember playing Dune 2. Remember Dune 2? You could click only one character. I think Warcraft 2 was the same. No? Could you group characters in Warcraft 2? I think you could group 6, 9? I don't know. I can't remember now. It's been a while. But Dune 2, you could click one character, and I think you actually needed to click either the move button or the attack button, and then, you know, point on the map somewhere for the character to go. And then moving on to Dune 2000. I loved Dune 2000. Oh, I loved Dune 2000. I mean, I don't remember, but I think it did. I didn't know game ratings and stuff like that. I didn't read reviews. I was a child and I played whatever games came into the house, you know, like whatever my mom got hold of or my sister got hold of. And so Dune 2000 was like the big thing that had come out, and oh, that game rocked for me. And I've got such an attachment to Dune as a franchise. Because I played Dune 2, Dune 2000, and later I played Emperor Battle for Dune as well. I love RTS games because that was kind of my foundation in gaming. And that game and that time of my life, I think I was in primary school, but I think I was around, I don't know, I want to say I was 9 years old, 8 years old, somewhere there. And that game was just so influential for me. I loved it. Every house, there were 3 houses, Harkonnen, Atreides, and Ordos. I played their campaigns through over and over again. I'd finish one and go straight over to the next house's campaigns over and over again. I'd do all of them, all the levels. I'd set up those skirmishes where you got like 8 AI opponents on a massive map, and everyone is like a melee. Everyone can just attack each other and whatever. I remember that was fun. Any of you guys ever play a game called Battle Realms? Do you remember Battle Realms? Battle Realms was a very kind of Eastern inspired RTS game where every unit came from like the same dude. So let me explain that a bit better. So you had like normal villager guys, and I can't remember if there was resource collecting, but I think there was. You'd have the villagers, and you'd build like an archery range, whatever it was called, and like a swordsman barracks kind of thing. And what you'd do is you'd take your villager and send him to like the barracks to learn how to use the sword, or you'd send the villager to like the archery range and he'd learn how to use bow and arrow. Or you could send him to the archery range, and then when the archer comes out, you could send him to the barracks to learn how to use the sword, and he'd have a bow on his back and a sword in his hand. Then you could send him to the stable to become a riding archer slash swordsman slash pikeman or whatever. So you could teach them, you could send the same dude to all of them, or you could make individual. If you just made an archer, that was the strongest archer. If you had the archer mixed with the swordsman, then he wasn't as strong an archer and he also wasn't as strong a swordsman, but you had the versatility of both at the same time. So it was very interesting. I remember playing it as well towards, I must have been, I don't know, 12 or 13, many moons ago. That's like 20 years ago now. Getting old. I miss some of those old games and I want to be immersed in them again. I love like walking simulator mystery games like Myst and Riven and what was it, the Journeyman series. I love those games. Did you ever play a game called Rent a Hero, right? Or a game called Zero Zone? Zero Zone was amazing. I remember fondly, right? I remember my mom, myself, and my sister sitting around the computer trying to figure out. It was same style like point and click, you know, first person view, point and click, and you kind of walk around and you figure out clues and you know, there's like big story, big mystery kind of events, and you got to figure out stuff. You got to investigate everything and touch everything in your immediate surroundings and just figure it out. And I remember it was so hard to figure it out, and we spent, I don't know, months, if not a year or two, playing some of those games to figure them out and get somewhere with them. And I remember it fondly. It's my foundational like gaming. So I kind of want to touch on some old stuff. I want to get back to the stuff I've been doing, but also not chasing release dates. Going after a release date to be like, yeah, I'm on top of it first. There's a million other content creators that are jumping on those release dates, you know, even before me. They've got teams and editors and whatever. They can get that content churned out fast. I'd rather do stuff that I want to do when I want to do it, that has more soul and maybe more meaning, and maybe people will find it more interesting to watch. So anyway, look out for my next videos. I don't actually know what I'm going to do first. I've got two ideas. So firstly, I've got Zero Zone that I was just talking about, which is a game from 1998, which is going to be fun, but kind of long-winded because it's a walking first-person puzzler mystery game, like I said. And I actually want to try again. I've been an avid Destiny player for years, and I mean, I don't want to get into any of the Destiny politics and stuff that's going on now, but I haven't touched Destiny in over a year, just because of all the nonsense that's been going on with it. And just, I don't hate Destiny. I actually really love Destiny. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but I've just kind of given it a wide berth for a little bit. And I wanted to try a game that apparently is quite similar, but a bit more hardcore. So it's like if Destiny had a baby with Dark Souls. There's a game called Witchfire. It's on Steam. That's one of the other things I've been exclusively playing on the PS5 and recording all my videos from the PS5 and basically ripping them off the PS5 and editing them. But now I'm going to also be doing some PC stuff because I have a better laptop generally, so I can play more games and record more stuff and have a better editing experience overall. So this is going to be cool. I'm excited to get into more, right? So I'm looking forward to what's coming up. I am not giving up on the YouTube dream. Even though I've been away a long time, I am back and I'm going to get right back into it. And things are going to happen some weeks. You know, maybe I don't do an upload because I've had work stuff and children stuff and family stuff and whatever. And some weeks I'll upload 3-4 videos if I can. I'm going to do my best. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to take it like one step at a time. But guys, if you have stopped by and watched, if you've made it to the end, bless your heart. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Drop a like, drop a comment if you like can relate to any of this. Remember any of the games I mentioned. You want to mention old games you played and maybe you want me to play and you want to like relive some of those old memories. Maybe I could stream even. I've been thinking about streaming and having people live instead of just doing videos. Might be something worth doing, worth checking out. But anyway, if you kind of got onto this video and you've never watched any of my videos and you aren't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I don't know why you would be watching this video if you hadn't, if you aren't a current subscriber. I love you all. I will see you soon in the next videos. Take it easy.